A walking tour down Santa Monica's Main Street. I'm Chris, this is Yellow Productions. I do travel guides that are fun, informative, entertaining, and in this video, I'm going to be taking you on a tour of Santa Monica's charming seaside main business street. I'm going to turn the camera around forward so you can see what I see. And as I'm starting this walk, it is at Main Street and Marine Street in Santa Monica. So this is the southernmost part of Santa Monica, where Santa Monica borders the Venice Beach boardwalk. Just 2 blocks behind me is the neighborhood of Venice Beach in the city of Los Angeles. This here that we're walking through is the city of Santa Monica. Many people all consider it Los Angeles, but in fact, they are 2 different cities. Now, I'm doing this video because Main Street is a little bit off of Santa Monica's beaten tourist path, but it's a pretty neat street to walk around. Most people don't make it down here because Santa Monica's big tourist draw is the Santa Monica Pier, right by the 10 freeway and downtown Santa Monica. So I thought I would share this part of Santa Monica with you that's a little bit more for the locals, places where people get their morning coffee, places where people come to dinner. But if it's crazy busy around the Santa Monica Pier, this is a neat neighborhood to check out. It's just a neat neighborhood to spend an hour or 2 walking around and strolling. There are lots of upscale boutique type shops on this street because Santa Monica is quite an expensive neighborhood. A lot of the restaurants have outdoor dining that they've set up in these little street side cafes. Now, these street side cafes are all here because of the pandemic, but some of these on Main Street, I think, are some of the nicest ones in Santa Monica. My favorite is actually this one here in front of Tsukiji Sushi Sen. You can see it almost looks like a little Japanese garden in here. It is quite nice. And so now, depending upon when you see this video, these street side cafes may no longer be here because the pandemic might be over. But at the time I'm shooting this, which is in September of 2021, they are indeed still here. Now, daytime, good for lunch, good for kind of breakfasty things. I'm here at 11 o'clock on a Friday, so it's still not hustling and bustling for lunch yet, but there's also a lot of bars and night entertainment. You will find a coffee block on nearly every shop. If we look over here, a couple people rode their bike to Groundwork Coffee. Also, if you're looking for Mexican food, the locals tell me that this holy guacamole Mexican food is super delicious. I've not personally eaten there, but last time we were here, OC Girl, myself, and the Traveling Princess, we were getting coffee from Groundwork, which was good, and everybody standing around the Mexican place told us, hey, if you haven't eaten here, you should. Now, up here on the right, on the corner, is something pretty neat. This is the Coco delivery robot. You can order food and drinks from participating vendors here on Main Street, have it delivered to you within a certain radius. This robot drives to pick it up. The people at the restaurant put the food in, and it brings it to you wherever you are. This little coffee shop here is also kind of neat on the inside, very woody. As I mentioned, there are a lot of coffee shops, and we'll poke our heads into them as we go. This one, I don't really even know how to pronounce that name, so I'm not going to, so that people don't say I don't pronounce things correctly. A lot of massage parlors and nail shops on this street. Santa Monica being an upscale neighborhood, there's a lot of ladies who like to keep themselves looking good. You see across the street is a Toe Heaven spa. One of the things that you won't find a lot here is cheap parking. The parking in this plaza is $7 if you park in this plaza. All the street parking is metered. If you want to find street parking, where I parked was actually up the hill that way on 4th Street. You'll find free parking if you go up a few blocks into the neighborhood, but make sure you don't park in one that's only for residents. This little restaurant, super popular, called Ashland Hill. You order at this window. They've got coffee, they've got burgers, they've got salads, and they've got lots of outdoor seating in the sun where you would want to be on Main Street. I mentioned this is a seaside Main Street. We're actually just about 3 blocks from the beach. one of the reasons why I also came to do this video today. In downtown Los Angeles today, it's something like 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Here on Santa Monica's Main Street, it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit because it's right next to the beach. So this is a good place to come to get away from the heat. Now, if you've got little kiddos, you might want to stop into the Pump Station and Nursery. This is a store that sells strollers, toys, all those kinds of things. Our traveling princess, I think, wanted us to probably buy half of the store for her. And, you know, the neat thing about this is these buildings that are on this street kind of look like the classic, like when this street was built in the early 1900s, but lots of new restaurants have moved in. In particular, right here, if you like Japanese musubi, this place called Sunny Blue has these really good musubi kind of Japanese rice balls with various fillings in them. There's lots of street art on the buildings, unfortunately. Some of it has been graffitied, as is life in Los Angeles. Now, if you've been following some of the issues with the unhoused in Venice Beach just to the south, the good news is that Santa Monica does not have nearly the same amount of those issues as Venice Beach does. Here we have a nice purple place. This is a Acai Cafe where you can get acai bowls and empanadas. Some nice orange tables where you can sit there. You can get your psychic reading next door at the Psychic Boutique. And this store is kind of neat. I just like the outside of it, the Closet Trading Company with these two golden lamps. You know, stores that open here aren't the same boring Abercrombie and Fitch crate and barrel things that you see in every shopping mall. Pretty unique stores, and they also try to do a lot of interesting things to make their outside unique, make it inviting to go in. Also, here on the corner, two stores that I like. Another kiddie store. This one's called Cara Bambino. You see a lot of people clearly come to Santa Monica, have kids, and then buy a lot of expensive kid stuff. This store almost looks like a kid's museum with strollers and toys and that sort of stuff. But the one that is almost like a museum, and it's not open right now, but it's this one called the Prop Shop, JD's Prop Shop and Curiosity Cabinet. And they don't open to 11. I don't think they've opened yet today. But inside this store, it looks like something also from the early 1900s, high voltage things. Lots of, you know, kind of like, looks like helium blimps and this and that. So that's a really neat store to wander into just to reminisce about America from days gone by. All right, now we're crossing Hill Street now, and I mentioned to the right, kind of goes up a hill that way. 4th Street is the apex of that hill, just about 4 blocks off of Main Street. By the way, if you're interested in seeing the Santa Monica Pier when you come here, it's pretty close by. It's just a 5 or 10 minute drive from Main Street. If you're looking for a video about it, good news, I have one. You can watch that one after this. I recorded that about a year ago in the height of the pandemic when there was absolutely nobody there. So if you want to see what the Santa Monica Pier looks like when nobody's there, check that out. This is the UPPAbaby Stroller Service Center. If you have an UPPAbaby stroller, and by the way, we do, then you can bring it to this place to have it fixed. Lots of baby strollers. Cool place. That lady inside is looking at me going like, why is this guy putting a camera up to our window? I am putting it up to say, I think that's a really neat store. We asked them why they opened an UPPAbaby store here. They've got 2 in the U.S., one here in Santa Monica and one in like Boston or the Bronx, like on the East Coast. And they said, well, we looked at all the warranty cards that were sent in about these UPPAbaby strollers, and this is where, you know, like a city that had the most of them. Of course, Santa Monica would have the most, you know, $500 strollers registered. But it's neat. If anything's ever wrong with your stroller, you just take it there, they'll fix it, and they'll even give you a loaner stroller while the stroller's being fixed. Our traveling princess enjoyed being in that loaner stroller. Did I mention there's a lot of coffee shops? There's a lot of coffee shops. Here on the right, coffee shop called Go Get 'em Tiger. And because it's the pandemic, a lot of these places are still kind of keeping people outside. But you can see they've got things displayed in the window. You can probably see more of me displayed in the window. But the most expensive drink on their menu is the iced almond macadamia latte for $7. But if you're coming here, you got to get here early because they're only open from 7 to 2. This Go Get 'em Tiger coffee shop is on the corner of this really classic seashore motel. this kind of like 2-story pink looking building. Another one of those that if you want to relive some old Americana, you can drive into this motel on this really hip street. Over in the corner here is the California Heritage Museum, this old little 2-story Victorian style building that is a museum. You can check out some history of here. They often do farmers markets just behind it in this parking lot. And this is another kind of big restaurant, nightclub thing called the Beach Club. I call it a nightclub. It's probably a day club or something like that, because it's usually people that are sitting out there doing their day drinking instead of their night drinking, but it definitely extends out into the night too. Now, if you are parking here, I mentioned this earlier, definitely pay attention to these signs because there's a lot of weird parking restrictions. You'll see lots of these signs. No parking at night, 3-hour parking, enforced every day. They're really going to make you pay when you come here. This is a Rvca skateboard shop right here. I think there's a lot of stores that just want to be here in Santa Monica because it's kind of one of those flagship places to be. And there we go. We got a dude with lots of hamburgers in the window. I love that little picture. And going this way, there's a car wash on the corner that has some nice art on it. Right behind it, classic historic liquor shop. Can I call a liquor shop historic? I'm going to call the liquor shop historic. Santa Monica has a lot of this kind of architecture. I guess I might call this modern architecture. If there's really any architectural wizards here, please let me know what you would call that. But sort of this white, baby blue, clean, little bit of gray look. This is the Santa Monica Branch Library. These also classic blue buildings. Blue is the color of Santa Monica, if you haven't noticed. We're crossing Ocean Park, which is one of the main roads that runs into Main Street. It's actually what I drove coming down into here. But I mentioned everything's blue. The buses are blue. The bus stops are blue. I think these bus stops are some of the nicest bus stops I've seen in almost any city. They've got these little chairs with little tables next to them, so you can sit there and drink your coffee while you're waiting for your bus. If you want to lock your bicycle up in front of the branch library, well, they've got this little blue thing here that you can lock your bicycle on, and a little bit of a sitting area that you can sit, enjoy your coffee. And then looking back at that building across the way, you can see some more public art there over on that surf shop, skateboard shop we looked at. And the hand car wash. Apparently today, busy day for the car wash. We had some thunderstorms last night. We don't usually have thunderstorms in Southern California, but we did. And so I think a lot of people that had their cars parked outside want to get it clean today. Now, there are a lot of stores that are closing or have closed on this street. The pandemic has definitely impacted a lot of them. But Native American world is still here with the classic Indian cigar man made out of wood. I don't think they sell any cigars in there. Next door, we got a classic shoe shop. You don't really see shoe shops like this anymore. And yes, if you wonder, that we don't have smell-o-vision on YouTube yet, but it does smell a lot like leather and shoes. Right across the way here on the liquor shop, there's this neat mural that says "Grab today by the handlebars" with the Santa Monica Pier in the background. Biking is definitely one of the best ways to get around Santa Monica because the traffic can be bad and the parking can be bad. Oftentimes, if I'm going over to the Santa Monica Pier and I know it's a busy day, I might park over in this neighborhood, find a spot that I can park in for a while, grab one of these, bikes that you can rent by the minute or the hour, or the scooters that you can pick up and drop off, and then just ride it over there. Not the scooters, because I actually don't really like the electric scooters, but you've probably been seeing a lot of these things strewn across the sidewalk, which are these bikes and scooters that you can pick up with your mobile app and just redeposit. Here on the right is the Buffalo Exchange, as it's called. This is a thrift shop, new and recycled fashion. You can sell them your clothes, and then you can buy other people's clothes. What do they have here in the window? Well, it is Halloween, so they've got some onesies there for Halloween costumes. Get a bunny or maybe a reindeer that looked like. We're going to pop in this little plaza for a second. There was a Ben and Jerry's on the corner, which appears to be closed. And this is kind of a neat, fairly new development in here. You can see as it doesn't look all that classic because this place is much more cement and artsy. Again, you'll find a lot of that public art as you go through Santa Monica. But one of my favorite coffee shops, there's a location right here, Blue Bottle Coffee. It's a big chain around California, but I think they make pretty good cappuccinos. Always a really neat, clean inside of the store that we'll kind of take a look at this way. So you can see nice, clean white lines. White, tan color wood, like birch, and blue is the inside of the store. This is the Santa Monica Visitor Center. So if you had any questions, you wanted to pick up maps, those sorts of things, you can do that right here. I always like cities that have good tourist information things, and here's a good spot for them. All right, continuing down this way, down Main Street, we'll be coming up on Rvca Cafe, which is another Southern California coffee shop institution. No doubt the biggest coffee shop here on Main Street. It is big. They also do good brunches. They do good cakes, a lot of good matcha drinks. Beware, though, if you go to Rvca Cafe, you might be standing in quite a long line. I mentioned Santa Monica is all about bikes. This is the giant store in Santa Monica where you can pick up bikes. There's a number of bicycle stores that we've seen as we've gone down the street. I haven't pointed them all out, as I just can't point out everything. Across the way, there's a ramen bar called Jinya Ramen Bar. Another chain ramen bar. There's a bicycle service center over there. Thai vegan restaurant. Everybody always wants me to point out vegan options. You'll find lots of vegan places here. Santa Monica is famous for kind of inventing the new California cuisine or California coastal cuisine. A lot of things with, fresh vegetables and just what happens to be fresh and tasty at the time. So this is Rvca Cafe in this little corner house looking thing. And the people that are lined up outside, these are the people waiting in line just to order. So, like I say, be prepared for a bit of a wait if you do come here and to line up on the street. All right, I'm going to cross Main Street now and try not to die as I do it. Make sure that people stop as I go in the crosswalk. And did I say there were a lot of bike shops? There's another bike shop right here on the corner. Got a biker that's just crossing right in front of me. And this is a really kind of neat thing, owing to Santa Monica being big about the community, trying to be a livable city. This is the Santa Monica Community Garden, where different members of the community can get a little plot of land and basically farm it themselves. Oh, and across the street, look what we've got here. This is perfect. The delivery robot. The Coco delivery robot right there, going to pick up and deliver some food to somebody. Thanks for Coco for being in my video. Well, that concludes our walking tour for today. If you enjoyed this video, I would definitely appreciate if you like it. Please give it a thumbs up. If you're heading to Santa Monica, definitely check out Santa Monica's Main Street for a neat, charming Main Street. You'll find lots of places to eat, shop, and drink coffee. As usual, I won't say goodbye because I'll see you in one of these videos. You might want to check out my walking tour of the Santa Monica Pier. Link in the description, also below.